Let us start with the part 5th of chapter 1, cell injury and adaptation. Here we are going to see what do you understand by cell injury, causes of cell injury and the production of free radical. Right. So first of all, what leads to cell injury? Suppose you have a cell which is getting a stimulus. So what happens after getting the stimulus, which is a non-lethal type of stimulus, this cell will undergo adaptation. But when this cell reaches its adaptive limit, there will be the injury to the cell. It can be reversible injury, it can be irreversible injury. So what is cell injury? When the adaptive response reaches its limit. When there is a continuous exposure to the damaging insult. This is because of decrease in nutritional supply. There can be decrease in oxygen supply, there can be decrease in nutritional supply, or there is decrease in the removal of the wastage produced by the cell, right? This will all lead to cell injury, and this cell injury shows a specific order of changes in cell, right? So this cell injury can be divided into reversible cell injury and irreversible cell injury. So if the stimulus is transient and lethal, right? What are the different type of stimulus and how cells react to those stimulus? It is a part 1 of this lecture series in general pathology. The link is in the description below. First start with the part 1 and then reach till part 6. You will get the proper idea. Okay, so transient lethal stimulus will lead to reversible cell injury, and the persistent lethal type of stimulus will lead to irreversible cell injury. So what are the causes of cell injury? The first cause is oxygen deprivation, which is also called as hypoxia. Hypo means less and oxia means supply of oxygen. So less supply of oxygen. It is extremely important for a cell to get oxygen, because when you receive oxygen, there is production of energy in the mitochondria with help of that oxygen, right? So it is a most common cause of cell injury and cell death. What are the causes of hypoxia? It includes reduced blood flow, means the cells is receiving less blood, or there is inadequate oxygenation of blood seen in carbon monoxide poisoning, or when there is increase in atmospheric pollutants, there is very less exchange of oxygen in the alveoli, or it can be because of cardiorespiratory failure and decrease in oxygen carrying capacity seen in anemia patient, right? And also in case of severe blood loss. So these are all the oxygen deprivation. Then there can be physical agents which causes cell injury. It can be mechanical trauma, it can be extreme hot temperature which causes burn, or it can be deep cold which causes frostbite. Okay, these are all will lead to cell injury. Then what about chemical reagents? The hypertonic solution. So what happens when the cell is in a hypertonic environment? The fluid or the water inside the cell tends to go outside to get that equilibrium, to get that isotonic environment. So what happens? The cell is hypotonic, the surrounding is hypertonic. Obviously the fluids or water will be drawn outside the cell, which will lead to cell injury and eventually to the cell death. The other chemical agents are poisons such as arsenic, cyanide or mercury poisoning. Then we have environmental pollutants, insecticides, herbicides, industrial or occupational hazards such as carbon monoxide and asbestos. Okay, so asbestos, accumulation of asbestos in the alveoli is, yes, it is occupational hazardous disease. Yes, can you give me the name? Put it in the description, put it in the comments below. Yes, it is asbestosis. Asbestosis is accumulation of that asbestos particle in the alveoli. Okay. Then we have infectious agent. Then we have immunological reactions. Then we have genetic abnormality and nutritional imbalance. So all these causes will lead to one thing, that is oxidative stress on mitochondria. Right? And when the mitochondria is under that oxidative stress, it will release an ion or an atom which has one negative charge. which we call it as, which all of us call it as free radical. Okay, so free radical. So what do you understand by free radical? Free radical is a ion or an atom with one free electron. Okay, so it will impart a constant negative charge, which is free radical, and this free radical is responsible for the cell injury and the cell aging. Okay, so here we are done with the part 6. In next part we are going to see the free radical, how free radical is produced, how it is injurious, and the reversible type of cell injury. Thank you.